Welcome back to the channel. Today, build update number 5 on the 36 Ford Roadster. We're kind of going through and doing drivetrain mock-up now. So we got the engine and tranny just set in the frame, basically on blocks right now in the jig table, so we can look at some of the big important components like driveline angle, location of headers or manifolds and everything like that. So one big challenge on these cars is anytime you put a V8 under the hood, there's not room for fans, radiator, accessory drive, and everything. We knew it was going to be something that we had to address. So we went ahead and put this pretty generic, like small block Chevy firewall in this car. And it got us really close to clearing everything that we needed to do. With these Ford valve covers and the adapters from Delmo, they give it like that vintage Ford look on an LS, kind of faking it. It made the valve covers a little bit taller. So that was one of the first things that we noticed as an interference problem. So today, Brian actually just cut this section of the firewall that we bought and moved it over. And you can see it's kind of all tacked in and fit now. That allowed us to push the engine back about another inch or so, just to pick up a little bit more space on the front of this engine for an electric fan or mechanical fan, whatever we end up doing. There's a really cool electric fan that we've used on other cars that basically puts the motor off to one side and then has a belt that powers the electric fan, which just makes it super slim. But they don't make those anymore, and I've looked and they just show them as discontinued. Maybe you know somebody that makes them. I believe it's called the Sidewinder fan. This is an application for that, but maybe we'll go mechanical fan. I don't know. I kind of feel like a mechanical fan might look good on this car and kind of play the part, and they generally cool really well, and we could probably build a pretty cool shroud to go with it. So not really sure how that's going to come together yet. So now that the engine's in, it gives us a chance to take some of the measurements for the other components. So keep in mind there's a whole accessory drive system that needs to go on the front of this engine and a water pump and everything. The radiator kind of has to go where it's going to go in this car because it ties into the grill and the support bars. A lot of stuff kind of relies on the radiator. It's almost the core support for this car. That is more or less a solid point that we need to work off of, and that's why we move into the firewall and make some changes there to push everything back. But we were able to pick up an inch with the modification that Brian's working on. We're going to do a mid-mount Holley system, pretty compact. They do some cool stuff with, you know, different accessories that allow it to shrink, and it's all molded into a custom water pump. Looks like it'll be a pretty good setup. We're also going to do Hooker Headers makes a manifold that is kind of like a header style, which I think is going to look just good on like this vintage kind of a feel. And if you remember from like the probably 2 updates ago, we got this like mid-rise intake, the 4-barrel throttle valve, throttle body, and all that set up. All this stuff came from Delmo with the valve cover adapters, and we also retrofitted like a Cadillac, vintage Cadillac air cleaner to go on this, and all that stuff's kind of been in and out throughout the process, so you'll probably see that in the next build update. It's looking really good. So just everything to consider. I mean, you can really back yourself into a corner if you don't locate the engine properly in the chassis. You can also set yourself up really well. So checking and making sure your ground clearance is good, your driveline angle is good. We'll talk about the driveline angle in a second and what that looks like, and some things honestly to watch out for that I've seen happen that cause issues. Check your steering location. This car doesn't have a brake master on the firewall, so you don't need to be too worried about that, but sometimes that's an issue with taller valve covers and where we end up doing electric or hydro boost and so on. We're making good progress. You've probably seen these, but we got a new engine hoist from Max for moving these LSs in and out and rotating them and everything, and it's a really trick. It made it a lot easier to put this in. So another critical part of the engine fit, of course, is the transmission. So with those two mated together, that's how we ultimately know what our ground clearance is going to be, and we can check probably one of the most important things to consider and not get yourself in trouble with later is the driveline angle. There's some really cool calculators out there now. If you're doing this at home, I would highly recommend. I mean, it's what we use. Tremec makes one, Dana Spicer has one on their website, but it's just for, you can plug in your numbers, your angles, you know, of the yoke and of the pinion, and your driveline angle, which is what I think is most commonly overlooked, and make sure your torsional values are within range basically of what you're trying to do, all the way to tire size, RPMs. There's so much info, but it's all really important stuff. One thing that I've seen happen on these cars, like you take a 30s car where the engine is relatively low in the chassis, which is good, and that's what we're doing here, but you lower the car so much that the rear end actually ends up above the transmission. So what that does is it gives you a driveline angle that points up towards the back. Typically, we're setting our driveline angle down from the pinion. So you're down here, say 3 degrees, and you're up at the pinion of the rear end 3 degrees, which is an offset. and that creates a small amount of tension, and it smooths out the ovals if you know how the U-joint works. But when the driveline angle points up towards the back, it creates too much angle at this joint. So 3 down, and now you're 3 up, you have 6 degrees of operating angle. And the operating angle is what's really important to consider. And then you end up with vibration issues and so on. So I caution you, if you're doing this, just to pay very close attention, because if you go start building the floor, wrapping the tunnel, the shifter, now all this stuff's off, the ride height's where it's gonna be, and so on. So some of the things we have to think about as we work through these, as well as, you know, pedal location, shifter, how that's gonna work with the tunnel. We just kind of cut some of the firewall out of the way. We'll have to probably make our own tunnel, which is what we've had to do on the other cars. They're similar to this. Most of these cars get an underfloor pedal system, which just like ergonomically seems to work the best because of where you can place it and how the swing of the pedal works. And these cars are just pretty tight, but they're really tough to mount. You got to work around a section of the frame, and the exhaust is always coming through there. So then you end up doing rods that go back there, but it's all custom mounted, and it's just really tricky. So where I'm rambling with, considering doing an under dash, I've seen a hanging pedal setup that mounts the master cylinder sideways, and then you can do remote mount reservoirs for a master cylinder and like put those out on the firewall. Like we could do like a trick little billet reservoir, kind of dress it up and just play off the mechanical side of the car a little bit. So I don't know, we'll see how that comes together. Build update, I don't know, probably 7 would be my guess. Maybe we'll circle back on that. Predictions. Yeah. Yeah, we got a little bit of other stuff to do, but we got to get a seat in here and so on. But another big thing that's been happening is the wheel tubs in the back. So those are all just one-off, custom shaped for this car. It picked up about 3 inches of extra room. I added in like some of the bead details that are reminiscent of the original. It bolts to the chassis because we're mounting this body to the chassis, very similar to how the original was done. And it just kind of straightens out what Art Morrison gives us for wheel width and maximizes that space. So that's one of my favorite things to do, honestly. When you're working through these, it's something that I've done several times before, so I'm like relatively comfortable doing it. But it always fits good, and I just love a big tire on the back of a car, so you're doing a good service at the same time. But these are made, the other side is fully mocked up and clecoed in place, but these are made in 2, probably I'm gonna do 3 pieces. So this entire back section is 1 piece that's built off of a template that I make through the process after everything's cut out. There's a slight half round radius, or quarter round, I should say, in this part. And then this outer section of the wheel tub is another piece that has the other quarter radius that ties and makes it a full half radius for 90 degrees. And that ties into this section, which then goes back into the original section of the car. So I basically just left myself a flange here to attach to. And instead of this wheel tub going down like this, you know, it really continued. It didn't even go straight back, like parallel to the axle. It went down. So it just had a big loop to it and came down so much farther out. So now this is pushed in, it's very square, so the tire will fit in here really nicely. And then there's always, you know, little bits of rest repair to do along the way. We've still got to work through this. We got to remove this fuel fill because we're going to do the fuel fill in the spare tire now, which that'll be kind of a really tricky little detail. So I've been having fun getting to shape little metal, which is good for me. We still got to do this rear tail panel. Mike came out like a week ago, just kind of went over everything on the car with me. And he was like, what if we took the spare tire and just kind of like recessed it in the body? Because Tavis did a rendering and had the spare tire from Tavis Highlander, who does the bulk of our renderings. And the spare tire was just like sitting right on the back of the car. The stock ones were away. So it was kind of, we instructed him to move it in a little bit closer, and it just looked really good. And I'm not even kidding. I was thinking the exact same thing. And I was like, he said that and I just started laughing because I was like, Mike, I was waiting for you to be here because I didn't want to just try to communicate this to you over the phone of what I was saying. And so it was hilarious. So we're right on track with each other. We're gonna be able to put a functioning spare in this car, which is really cool. A lot of times you see that and then a wide, massive rear tire, and it's like, okay, this original spare tire cover is obviously not housing a functioning spare. You know, he intends to drive this car. So we'll do like some jacks inside the car and everything. So I'm pretty excited about the detail. I love the function of it. I love the form of it, recessed into the body, which is not something you really see with a rumble seat as well. We're gonna shorten up the tail lights a little bit, move the rear bumper in. yeah, there's some exciting things going on. So hopefully this is fun for you to follow along. Another thing that is new to look at right now is kind of mock the top up and put it together. I'm glad we did, because we noticed some hardware and things that were bad and some bolts that were stripped. So it gave us a chance to work through some of those issues. We kind of have it that way so that when we go through and do another fit on the body with all the fenders and everything, we can just make sure that our windshield's level, because there again, we've got the whole floor is cut out of this car. We need to really make sure that the body is lined up, pleasing the eye as best we possibly can before we go putting the floor back in it and locking everything down, which is kind of the direction we're working. I was talking about the rendering. Just throw the rendering up here because it'd be, I don't know, the rendering is really cool. I'm gonna have a poster printed out for the shop or something, a little shop inspiration, but Tavis always does a really good job on it. The wheels are killer. The stance is just right. I think the color's really cool, honestly. It's not a super common color you see, so let us know what you think of the rendering, and unless you don't like it. Thanks for watching this build update on the 36 Ford. If you like it, like it. If you have another question, ask it, and stay tuned for more. Well, I know, and I'm like trying to look, like talk about it, and this is right up here.